All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this awesome conversation I'm about to have with my beautiful friend here, my beautiful teal friend, Solera. And we did a call like this recently, and it was so much fun. I want to talk a little bit today about not just our journeys, but because Solera and I both work with people and we're very active in what we do, and we'll say bringing light to the planet and helping the planet awaken.
Yeah,
um, I want to talk a little bit because we have very different audiences. And actually, there's a lot of overlap. And when I found your work, Solera, I was like, oh my God, I was so drawn to what you do. Now,
yeah.
not to, I know we're both timeless, but in our physical bodies, you're about 25 years ahead of me on your journey, I think, maybe exactly.
Yeah,
And what I've noticed is that the work you do is so joyful. It's so like, it's not so much about problem solving, it's about
yeah,
the joy and the beauty and the fun and elevating the world, right?
yeah,
And my work, so for my audience here, also tends to be a little more focused on helping people transcend their struggles. And I think that has to do with because again, I'm a little like earlier into my journey. So honestly, when I started like getting to know you and we had some calls a couple years ago, I think, I was
yeah,
like, wow, that just inspires me for the future. Like maybe the folks that I work with and the people who resonate with me, maybe a decade from now or 5 years from now or whatever, we'll be just so over everything that like it's just gonna be how much more fun can we have and how much beauty can we infuse into the planet, right?
yeah,
So sometimes I look at your work and I think I have questions. I was so curious, and that's why I was like, please write that book. I want to know how you became who you are in your journey.
yeah.
So I guess one of the questions I have for you is do the people that you still work with, because you host this maestros group and you guys are like infusing the world with goodness and love and transformation and all this stuff, do the
Yeah.
folks that you still work with tend to have like the struggles, you know, the personal things, or is most of your work now where everybody's sort of over that kind of stuff?
Oh, that is such an interesting question. A little of both for them. But let me say first, not for Centauri and I, my husband and I. Um, I think so. One of the things I just got yesterday, today, that I'm going to do next is called Redesigning Human. And if you'll notice in the book that you just read and I just wrote, there's a chapter where I talk about becoming a different version of what human is. I talk about it as becoming a new turquoise species because I can have a bit of chuckle with that. But when you talk about joy and beauty, these are not cutesy things. These are forces of a kind of life power that bring transcendent, transformative, powerful movement to life. So I'll come back to your question. I wanted to say that first.
Yeah.
So all of the ones that I work with in the Maestros group, we are all evolving ourselves constantly and evolving life in the world individually and together. That's how we get called together. And some of them still experience challenges in life. But when they experience challenges, or even if I do, which I hardly ever do anymore, the reality seems to be dancing with me completely now. So, but I'll just talk about myself and make it that way. So when anything comes up, I don't take it as a problem or a challenge or anything wrong. I go, oh, the universe is pointing me in a new direction. What might that be? And I get really curious about the greater purpose or the greater thing it's pointing me towards. And I very, very rarely have resistance to that.
Mhm.
And I think most people aren't trained to look there. They look at the problem, they look at the past, they look at the trauma that might have caused the problem, they look at what are they creating for reality. And those looks, while they might be valuable, to me, tend to, there's better looks.
Yep.
I'll say it that way rather than judge what it is. There's a better place to look. And the place to look is what's it pointing you towards. So, it's like I was talking with someone this morning who's experienced a lot of challenges, empathic and, income and living in a war zone and blah, 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 many, many, many things. And tired all the time, slightly, down, no energy, can't go into town, which I'm sure a lot of people would experience.
Yes, I talked to a lot of people with that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I was describing to her my view of that we are born as a being, and when the being comes into the body, it's the life force that activates and animates the physicality. And when we die, the life force leaves the body. But
100%.
in this iteration of life, or this period of time, and I'm talking about maybe the last 20, 30 years, maybe going forward for a little while, um, I, anyways, am learning to not hang on to what I was born with as a life force, a personal life force that animates the physicality. So I now live on and breathe on the universe in cosmic creation, which will sound weird to people, but believe me, it's so practical. It's so full of vitality. It's like, you know, galaxies are colliding. I'll have some of that. It's like it gives me much, much, much more vitality and life force on which to operate. So it's a little bit of redesigning how human occurs
Hmm.
because we're so oriented to being an individual, and in the last decades really working on trying to figure out who we are and how to get over the past and deal with our issues and personal development and all of that kind of stuff. And I think there's a point where you leap over that horizon and then you're looking at things from a different place
Yes.
in that space. So higher vitality, um, greater purpose, vibrational frequency, being a source of reality, becoming a source being, which is a little bit more collective, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll stop talking because I think you're also going through some of that.
I mean, everything, I think we talked about this last time. Your experience and mine are very similar, and for me, it is exactly the same. Kind of what I was wanting to get at is there's so much that it's taken to get here. Decades of learning and studying and efforting to get to a point where it's pretty effortless also. Now I have challenges, but they're opportunities. It's like, oh goody, this
Yes.
is gonna take me into something new. But for the most part, the challenge is, how do I put it? It's like no problem could ever really be a big problem when I'm not a Cathy. Like again,
Yeah.
creator, source, universe, make me an instrument, flow through me, speak
Yeah.
through this mouth the words that are going to best assist the whole. And when it's not about you, when it's not personal, when you don't have any personal expectations or a finite little focal point of exactly how it's supposed to be to make you happy, boom, you're just wide open and everything's a gift. But in a way, one reason I asked you this is because, if I were maybe somebody just awakening or whatever, maybe somebody who's well on their path, but they're still kind of stuck into the victim mentality of the personhood.
Yeah.
I might look at your website and your Facebook posts, which I just love your Facebook posts, and think, well, this is some fluffy bullshit, you know?
I know.
Like, but it is so real. And so it's
Yeah.
like I'm always sort of my challenge that I have a lot or I feel a lot is like with each person I meet and with every video I make and every post, it's like, how can I get this through in a tangible way for people where it's not a concept, like to help them step more
Yeah.
into living it? So, like your example of the person you were talking to, yeah. So I
Yeah.
talk to people like that all the time. And, you know, sometimes I find myself saying, like, it's very real. Like
It's
it's
very
so
real, very practical, very livable.
Yeah. So I have a good question for us both then. So considering that the audience, you know, that I've welcomed is who can I assist? Who's ready? Who's ready for this? Like who's ready to live this way where
Yeah.
you get more energy, more clarity? I mean, year over year, I am healthier, happier,
Yeah.
lighter,
Me too.
brighter.
Yeah.
It's never going to stop until we decide like time to drop this body and
Yeah.
wherever we're going to go next, right?
Yeah. That's how I feel too. Yeah.
Yeah, so what would you say? So I like to, what I loved about when I started working with you was we did that sourcing, it was like your sourcing work. And I was like, this is practically what I do, just come through me, source, speak through me,
Yeah.
and or bring through that new energy and let it transform into whatever it wants to be. So, you speaking now as the universe, as the grand being, you know, and then some, whatever, we both are like, I don't have to name this or try to define it too
That's right.
close.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would your grandness say to somebody who's struggling right now?
Oh, good one. Okay. I got some practical tips.
Okay.
So one is stop protecting yourself.
Mm,
People put that everybody's told put protection around you. That will keep you from the joy, from the vitality, from the genius flow, from the creative bursts, and the universe can guide you. So, what I'm not talking about being vulnerable either, but
mhm.
don't wrap yourself in a protective thing. That's the first thing, because that is what causes the problem.
Yep. That's a layer that you separate yourself from.
Yeah, from just everything, all the
Yep.
good stuff. And raise your vibration
Hmm.
because you can be vulnerable at the I need protection stage or the empathic stage or the life is too much stage. You can be vulnerable, but if you raise your vibrational frequency, so I'm not a meditator. I started out that way like 35, 40 years ago because I was stressed in a corporate environment kind of thing. But I dance disco, you know,
But I was thinking dance and sing, yes.
like I go up the Glastonbury tour to stand in the energy. I went to the fairy festival yesterday and filmed all the fairies. Like I know that sounds weird, but I'm trying to also do a side business of because I love filming beautiful people and beautiful moments in beautiful places. And so I'm trying to create a side business of something like that, which is still in creation. So
And
do
joyful
things.
and fun and whimsical and like,
Yeah, do things you love.
yeah.
And then escape the matrix. In
Mm.
whatever way you can escape the matrix, because then the matrix is the news. You know, it's good to be informed. So I can watch briefly what's going on. So I'm very informed about mostly what's going on in the world, especially in certain countries and stuff. But don't let yourself get taken away by it because it will drop you fast if you can't kind of either view it with a greater purpose or, send power to the world, connection to the world, love to the world, whatever yours is. Mine is like redesigning humans and elevating them up and connecting them to all life forms in nature and the cosmos and like, let's be greater at this. Let's
Yeah.
do better kind of thing. So, if you can do it with purpose, do it. But otherwise, stop, escape the matrix in whatever way is yours to do. And for some people, that's being in a corporate job that's so stressful. You're just exhausted. You just used up every day. And some people love what they do. So love what you do. If you have to be there, love it. And I have people who say to me, "What? How do I love this horror show kind of thing?" Well, find a way.
Yep.
If you need the money, then find a way. Relax, do what's yours to do. Stop fussing about getting if you get promoted or if you get a good review or get blah 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 blah. Like find a way to love it or leave. Like do what you love. And I love that there are people in the world right now. I follow some of them in the UK that are really interesting. And the kids just graduating what you would call high school in the States and their GCSE results here in the UK. And they just got their results this week. And there's some of the top, TV presenters and social media people who are saying, "Hey, I was homeless at 15. I was dumb as you could possibly get. I failed
Yep.
three of my things and like, but look at me now. I'm a TV star. I'm a social media influencer. I have millions in the bank. Don't take these GCSE or these high school results as like that's it for your life. You have no potential. No. No, every person has uniqueness in them. Every person has genius in them. And you
Mhm.
got to find what yours is
Yes.
and let it come out in creative expression in some way. And I
Yep.
think that's important for people. So if I just recap that, so stop
Hmm.
protecting yourself, raise your vibrational frequency, love what you do or leave, and let your genius, your unique genius come out and believe in that and create a lifestyle around that. And I think that's very doable these days.
100%. We live in a time where you can choose.
Yeah,
It's no longer the lifetimes where you're stuck in this life, and if you leave the village,
yeah,
you're going to get murdered. I mean, at least
yeah,
for most of us. I know there's parts of the world that are different.
yeah,
I love all of that. What it reminds me of before I go into it, I would say is love what you do. So if I think of a lot of the folks that are struggling, a lot of times it's like, oh, I don't have any friends and I don't have any awakened friends and I don't have a good job or I don't like my job or I don't want to work or the world's a terrible, this negative mindset, which is the one thing you have control of, is your perspective. It's
yeah.
not something, that's the matrix. It's been imposed and embedded in you, and
It
you
is.
say,
That's
no
the
more.
control thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you say no more and you switch it around,
yeah.
and
And
then,
it's not positive thinking.
nope, it's not.
It's way past that.
It's way beyond positive and negative. That's where
Yeah.
people call toxic positive. No, we are so beyond positive and negative here. It is
Yeah.
about reality creation
Yes.
and choosing to project onto reality what you choose to create, you
Yes.
know. But the whole your job thing. So like I spent my 15th birthday in a psychiatric ward because I had a funky upbringing, okay? And then I was rebellious and angry and doing drugs and running away. And, every one of those things now I look back and say, thank God, I wouldn't be this
Yeah.
untouchable today if I
Yeah.
hadn't had all that. Now, I'm not saying it had to be that bad, but going to my job today, I work in the community as a job coach with folks with disabilities, and some of them have severe
Yeah.
psychological, physical, emotional stuff, like real big challenges. And it can be,
Yeah.
that's a challenge sometimes. So what do you do when you have a challenging job like that? You go in each day with, how can I make this as awesome as possible? Whether it's
Yeah,
listening to tunes on my headphones, enjoying the times I get to work from home, I get to drive all over town, meet lots of people, seeing the beauty in people instead of seeing their deficits. I look
yeah,
for, what is the beauty of this person? Like,
yes,
my point is, these challenges, it is an opportunity to connect deeply to your creator essence and that creativity of
yeah,
turning something into beauty
yes,
and having fun with it and enjoying it. And you actually can. Now, I've had to walk away from jobs, and some of them it's like, all right, I've tried my best here. This isn't fun, and it's time to move on. So, 100% love it or leave it. Like, but be smart about it because we're still human. We still have bills to pay. So it's like sometimes you suck up that job for another month or two while you're looking for the next one. Or I like this even better. So I'll go into what I would tell somebody as source, just speaking to whoever's watching here today, is about opening up and not protecting yourself.
yeah,
It's that you are so loved and supported. Your greater being is cheering you on to open up and to embody who you are beyond protection. And
yeah,
that if you choose the road of love and joy and open-heartedness, you will be supported. It's it
yeah,
will happen when
yeah,
you choose
yeah, yeah.
that.
It does.
And
Yeah,
it's hard for people to trust that, but it's like, again, that is getting rid of that old paradigm and choosing it. You choose it again and again and again. I just know I'm loved and supported. The whole
yeah,
universe has my back, and
yeah.
it happens.
I'm going to take a leap off of what you just said into something. I'm not an individual being anymore.
Mhm.
I'm more collective than I am individual. I'm more with the whales and the oceans and nature and, and all the
Mhm.
animals. And it's not that I'm an animal lover or a nature lover. I'm in it that much, but I am the universe. I am creation. I am source. I can be whatever. Um, I'm I'm ever moving and but the next thing and the next thing. It's like I'm not one thing. And I
Mhm.
would say I'm more collective than I am individual. And how one gets to that, it's instead of just trying to create your own reality, if you live connected collectively, so you walk in the woods, you go to the streams, you stand on the mountain and the beaches, and even if you scan, the reels and whatever you watch, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or Facebook Reels or whatever, I curate them to see nature and animals and dancing and art and creativity. And so it's not like you have to go out and do those things, but you operate in a connected field. And the connected field, whereas one time, when I was an individual,
Yeah.
I had a field of me that was this big. And this field would walk around in the world, and there was reality banging upon me, and all that kind of stuff. And I would do some good things and try and set goals and et cetera, et cetera. But now I'm a collective field. That includes all of that stuff, the universe and creation and life and earth and all of that. And so when I walk as reality, all reality for all beings, for all people as well. And that gives me great ideas, great energy and vitality. Great reality responds to me. I don't respond to reality.
Yes, you're the effect.
Yeah, exactly. You're the creator of reality. You're not imposing, I'm not imposing my will upon the world. often I'll go, "Ooh, what wants to happen through me next?" Like, hey, universe or source or creator or whatever. What do you want next? And if that resonates with me, I don't have to do everything it suggests, but it never suggests anything that I don't love to do. So I'm like, okay, let's do that. So there's great enthusiasm, many ideas, and I think I said this when we talked before, but I say it a lot. I get a million ideas, and I do what I call throw spaghetti at the wall to see if it sticks.
Yep.
I never consider if something doesn't work that it's a failure. I'm like, oh well, moving on.
Yep.
That was a good try. Okay, what else? I don't even have to
Yeah.
learn anything from it. It's just what did it stick? Did it not? But it's like a constant, something's constantly bubbling bigger and bigger. And the other thing I do is if something doesn't work, I get wilder. So, where a lot of people try to design their work
Oh
for
yeah.
people to hear them,
Yep.
I don't. I'm not concerned with that. I'm concerned with the breaking through of new things in life. And the ones that hear it, and then they turn it into their way, and they affect others, and they affect others, and they affect others, and they affect others. So
Yep.
it's really interesting because most people would pull back if something doesn't work or
Yep.
feel like they failed. I don't.
Just
I'm
go
like,
further.
I'm like, I'm going to keep hitting that bat with that baseball until it gets home run. Like,
I love that.
yeah,
I love that. I recently shared a picture of this little plant I started, and I had cut a nub off a stalk of a little plant, and it sat for months and months and months in that water. And I looked at it one day and I said, "You're gonna grow. Like you just keep, if you have that thing, you're gonna grow." And then within like a week, it finally sprouted after months of nothing. And it's like that when you feel something and you know it. What you shared, it reminds me, and this is like so sort of old energy, but I love seeing how it overlaps and shows us these concepts or
yeah,
foundations. It reminds me of the Martha Stewart story that I watched on Netflix, and I loved it. She wanted that damn magazine. What was her magazine called? Martha Stewart. Maybe it was just the Martha Stewart magazine, but she had this vision for this magazine, and then
yeah,
the people who own People magazine made her an offer for like millions, and she was broke and needed the money, and everybody was hating on her because she was a woman on Wall Street and switched over to all this home stuff. And she turned them down, like maybe making the worst mistake of her life, but it ended up turning her into a billionaire because she said, "No, I want the creative rights to this. And it's going
yeah,
to be," she wanted her stuff in Kmart for all the people so that everybody could have access to it, not
yeah,
just the rich people. And they were trying to shut that down, right? So it reminds me of that, what you just shared. And what you said about walking as, for me, it feels like this when I'm in that you're
yeah,
just, you're so much bigger than that little body. You're just, it's so powerful and relaxing.
yeah,
And that's what you said about don't protect yourself, because I think what trips people up from this quantum, mega, mega more than a quantum leap into I am, as in I am that I am, I'm source in a body, and there's no separation, is that protection. And for me, like one way that I see that is when you're out in the world, you wanna elevate everyone. And I call that like the love that we are, the unconditional love that you love everything, everyone at that source level. You might not love their actions or their behaviors or whatever they're doing, but there is a core of us that namaste, the light in me, acknowledges that same light is you. You're just playing a different character right now. And when you actually try to open up to that though, and this is where I think that people do get tripped up. I mean, that was a challenge for me, is you come across that person that triggers you and you want to protect yourself and you don't want to uplift that person. You want to get back at them. You want to close down, run away from them. And it's like you have to take that breath and remember, I am that I am. Like I'm the universe, like we're all that. And
Yeah.
open up and do your best to elevate them. Because when you start elevating others, it elevates you and it feels so good to be open and connected to everybody and everything. Your biggest nemesis or whatever becomes like you don't have any enemies, you don't have anything
Yeah.
that you're against.
Wait, let me say this about that. Uh, I walk away easily from people if
Mhm.
they occur like that with no judgment, like many blessings on your path. That's not that's not my life. That's not my version of reality. I don't want to be distracted. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I just let it go.
Hmm.
Um, and but I'm so fortunate. I don't think it's fortunate. I'm creating it. The only people I know are fabulous,
Hmm.
kind, generous, genius, creative. That's all that I know. And it's
But it
not,
wasn't like that 30 years ago, I'm sure, 40 years ago.
oh,
So like
40. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you've stopped reacting, you've stopped judging them, you could say you've healed that within yourself, which
No,
was
I didn't
triggered.
heal it. I did.
Okay.
No. Um, yes, I remember, I'll give you a practical example. My first marriage was a disaster. Right? I was like married at 2021 and 5 years, and it was just horrendous, right? And it was the only regret I carried through my life.
Mm.
And then, oh, it's maybe about 3 to 4 months ago, I thought, I don't want to carry a regret. And so, okay, and so what you do is you put it up here. You put it in a higher vibrational space. Not, I wasn't going to love it. I still think he's many
Right?
blessings on your path.
Right?
But I put it up here and I said, what was this for? And I
Mm-hmm.
realized as soon as I looked, because I was looking there for
Mm-hmm.
the answers. Oh, that was yucky. I'm so glad I'm out of that. I wrote no more men 100 times on a piece of paper to try and convince myself I was done for life, right? And so I put it here and I looked at it and I realized, oh my God, if all of that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have taken these actions. Then I wouldn't have taken those actions. Then I wouldn't have done this. Then I wouldn't have gone to that country. Then I wouldn't have moved to this country. Then I wouldn't have met my third husband, we've been married 30 years. He's a dream. It's wonderful. He's a great partner. And I thought, oh, okay. I don't have to even thank the person necessarily. I can thank myself. Okay, universe, you had some scheme in mind that I was completely unaware of and making ridiculous decisions back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I can laugh about that now. I can look back at that and think, hey, yeah, I just was making really bad decisions.
Yep.
I had a dream before I married him, the night before that I was marrying the wrong man, and I married him anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You
I've been
know,
there.
yeah, I'm sure many people have. And often they carry these things through the whole of their lives as a big trauma and it affects everything they go forward with. And really, I would say like get over it.
Yes,
Be
that doesn't
lighter.
sound very loving, but really just drop it like a bad habit because it is. It's just say
Yeah,
I'm done
like
with it. When you say I'm done with it, you
yeah.
can be done with it. Do you
And
think?
be yourself, be you, be
Mm-hmm.
joyful, be expressive, have the life you want. Like
Mm-hmm.
live in the now, live in the powerful possibility of yourself and what life is for and what it wants from you. And
Yeah, just the
I'm not
past
trying
can
to
be
be,
done.
I'm not trying to be cold about people's grief or depression or anxiety or because I do work with people who have those things
Yep.
sometimes. But I only see their greatness even
Mm-hmm.
when they're talking about that kind of stuff. And when
Well,
I only see their greatness starts to emerge more and more and more.
yes. Yes, you focus on that and it
Yeah.
expands.
Yeah, and I try and help them, like if they're depressed, I try and call their being, how much of you is your being, is your life force is really present. Let's get to see what's that, let's make that happen. And if they're anxious, then what's the potential of that and what's it pointing you towards it? And if you're feeling emotional, what's the potency of that? Because I believe we're moving from emotional reaction to emotive power,
Yeah,
and a transformative alchemical type of power that affects reality around you. It's kind of like that. So I think when people are really struggling, they're in the middle of a transformation.
100%.
And if
Yeah.
they know they're in the middle of a transformation, it makes it easier rather than I'm in the soup.
Hmm.
I
For
don't
no
know how to get
reason.
out. Like it
Yep.
just that simple look at I'm in the middle of a transformation. Oh, there's a door at the end of this tunnel,
Hmm.
and let's find the door, kind of
Yes.
thing. And it's not, my work isn't necessarily, my work is working with people who want to make the world an extraordinary
Yep.
place.
But you've
Um,
worked with individuals a lot for years too on all
yeah,
this.
and they have challenges, and we look at them as potential and possibilities and greater purpose and who they are as beings and what they're meant to give to the world or give to their communities or give to their families, whatever it is. So
Yeah.
it's a very different thing. But I'm here to get the world to turn out brilliantly like never before.
Yes.
That's why I'm here. That's what I'm up to. And if
Yes.
everybody could get what theirs is, we'd all be better off,
Absolutely.
you know?
So I'm going to ask you one more question, but first I'm going to comment on the thing you just said about because I know this really pisses off people's egos when it's like just drop it, just get over it, just stop. I've been
Yeah,
the last week or two, I've had so many friends, family, people I work with who are having like anxiety attacks and panic attacks.
yeah,
And one of the things I've shared with several people is sometimes when that thought comes, you just say no. No, just
yes,
no. And then you redirect. Just no.
yes,
Like you shut the door on it. And,
yeah,
there's all these different philosophies. Like we're supposed to like love it and talk about it and think about it and therapize
yeah,
it. And I do think that that stuff helps people from if they're just starting to become aware of stuff they're working on, maybe. Like there's all these
yeah,
little steps. I don't know. I mean, it's probably different for everyone. But the thing you said about, oh, I could see how this was related to that and how I needed this to get from here to there to there. One thing I think is important is that, okay, maybe you look at that in the moment, you write your, I'm never getting, no more men or whatever. But then the reason I teach presence a lot, but you share a lot about just go have joy and have fun is to stop analyzing it, stop thinking about it, stop focusing on it, and just say, I'm
yeah,
done with it. And I find that the awareness or the ahas or the 2020 vision just kind of comes to you when you're not working on that old garbage and you're just in joy or love or life or whatever. Like it will come and resolve
yeah,
itself in a way.
yeah.
Um,
I
so,
think that a lot of people, you're talking about anxiety, and especially right now in America, there's a lot of concern about society and AI all over the world and the wars
yes.
and will I have a job? One of the things that I think you and I have probably discovered, as many others like ourselves, this sounds fluffy, but it's not. When you get aligned like this, the universe has a way of taking care of you. It has never failed me in 30 years since I took this on. Like, we were 78,000 pounds in debt, which is about over $100,000 in debt, paying probably over 1,000 a month in US dollars in um, credit card interest. Today we're debt free. And it happened magically. It did not happen in a I've got to get this done. I'm worried about
Conventional way?
this.
Yes, not in a
It happened.
conventional way.
My one day, the letterbox, the letter came through. My husband opened it, and it was like, oh, he had a pension for £15,000, which is about $20,000 that we didn't even know existed because he changed his first name and they couldn't find him. And it took some searching to find him because he changed his first name, even though you changed it legally. But and that began a series of magical amounts of money that just appeared for
Mm-hmm.
us until there was no debt. And then we traveled the world for a year and a half.
Woohoo! I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. That's the way the universe works. And
Mm-hmm.
at one point when we first met, we had about $100 in the bank, 75 pounds in the bank between us, which is nothing, right? And we had
Yes.
no place to live. And so a friend loaned us a two-bedroom tent and we rented a camping spot and we rented a computer for £5, which is about $7 at that time. That was 1996. And I wrote my first book in that campground. It was magical. It was wonderful. I remember standing at the call box talking to my mother in Canada, who was like, "Oh my God, you're homeless." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, it's amazing, Mom. I'm having the most amazing time of my whole life because I'd quit my job, I'd sold everything I owned, I'd come here with nothing, used up everything. It was like,
I set your book down, but I remember that part in your book. If you guys haven't read Solera's latest book, it's about her becoming, how she became. And I
yeah,
love that part of the book
yeah.
because you're just as happy as a lark in the
Just like we were homeless. That's it. It's penniless and no place to go. But we weren't worried about it.
Mhm.
We weren't just trying to be some positive, characters. We were having the time of our life. And we'd walk a mile into town and eat French fries at the Blue Note Cafe and watch all the rainbow-haired people walk by in Glastonbury. And I have just so lovely. It was just this magical, like I remember it as the most magical time of my life. So
Mm.
it's like, I don't think people should be so afraid of what might come. But you don't, if you live in the lower vibrational version of reality, that stuff can happen to you.
Oh my God. Because yes, that is exactly how we're raised, conditioned, the
Yeah,
media. I
it's the
mean,
matrix. It's the
survive,
matrix. Gotcha.
survive, survive.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And when I find when people like leave, I remember a friend was sitting here 4 years ago and complaining about a big corporate job, and my husband walked through and went, "Leave." And she was like, "What? How will I? What?" And
What about, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but.
she ended up getting one of the biggest payouts in that company's, you
Oh.
know, history, and is now doing brilliantly and will
Hmm.
be fine. Like,
Hmm.
it's amazing. When you not just trust it, you source the magic happening. And you do that by, yes, being full of joy and full of life and full of purpose and full of genius ideas and creativity and flow. And you do what you love. You find what lives in you as
Yeah.
what's all I find. If I say to people, "Well, what did you when you were a little kid?" That's where the answer lies. Because as a little kid, it was there in the beginning.
Okay. Well, I was gonna ask you that last, what you said about like I used to feel my light and just hold on to it and focus on it and just be like, come on, power me up. Give me the passion. Show me what would I love to do? Show me the joy. And
Yeah,
it's like connecting with your greater self, calling it in,
yeah,
commanding it, saying, this is what I'm here for, damn it, let's go. And I'm like a dog with a bone because I had a heck of a rough journey from
yeah.
I had a total basically breakdown and for years was like bedridden. I just hung on to that light and said, damn it, I know I'm here for this
Good for you.
100%. And if you commit to that and you do it, and people will say, yeah, but I can't, like, and I don't feel it, choose it. just choose it. Like, what have you got to lose if you're already
Yeah.
miserable or sick or
Yeah.
whatever? And your story about the money, I just gotta say, for anyone who's really loving this conversation, I have so many friends that have similar stories. They're crazy too, not the conventional ways of money coming.
Yep.
I've been, I quit my full-time job, almost 20 years ago now, but like I don't have a lot of money, but everything just works out. Like it's always enough and then a little bit more, like it
Yeah.
just comes. I don't even know sometimes how I've lived the last 10 years, living alone, having a nice apartment by myself
Yeah.
and I have a beautiful car. It's 20 years old. It's a Lexus. It's a
Yeah.
real nice car. And I'm just like, this thing's gonna last 25 years if it needs to. Like, whatever, it just happens. So, but I do want to ask you one more question because I know we've been on here for
Okay.
a while. I'm really curious about this because, yeah, I want to know. You just started talking about it. Your older work used to be a lot more probably, I think, working one-on-one with people to help bring out their genius, right?
I did. I'll tell you, just ask the question, then I'll tell you.
I want to know how you do that.
To bring people's genius out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Uh, First you have to acknowledge that every single person has unique genius inside them. I
Hmm.
mean, it's amazing when you discover what it is. I mean, just amazing. It's pure magic and miraculous inside people. Like everyone I've ever met never fails me, like every time. So that's the first thing. And then you ask them, when you were a little kid, what was happening? Like good stuff. What inside yourself, what did you know? What did you experience? And I've had people say, oh, I could be the dolphin in the sea or the cow in the field. And then my dad said, what? Stop that. So they stopped that.
Hmm.
Because that scared dad, right? It didn't scare them. They were having a great time being the
Hmm.
eagle in the sky. And, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, bring that out. Like,
Yeah.
please. That's amazing. And it's more than just affirm, you revel in the wonder of them and make it right for them. And then something clicks in them. And that thing it's always been inside, like a seed germinating.
Hmm.
And when you open that door and affirm it and see the wonder and the beauty and go, yes, and you turn it into the now moment of brilliance in the world, it changes them somehow.
But I'm guessing some of the people that you talk to, like myself, they say, I can't remember. Like I've talked to folks, I can't remember anything happy from my childhood. And I didn't have a very happy, there's only a couple things I was ever able to kind of link back to moments of expanding into all that is, I'm everything, I'm everything, and then turning it off. Like I think I remembered that on purpose. My higher beingness was like, remember this, you
Yeah.
can just poof into all that is, right? What happens? How do you work with those folks who are just like, Solara, I got no happy memories, I'm not special.
Well, that was me. I mean, I didn't have the trauma that you had. I had a
Yep.
fairly okay upbringing, but when I was in grade two, which meant I was probably 7 or 8 years old, the teacher wrote my mother that I was the most fabulous writer she'd ever come across. I was like, what is she talking about?
Oh,
And when
okay.
I was in my 20s, I did a writing course, and and when as I read what I'd written, the whole class and the teacher looked at me like I was insane. And I said I'd never write again.
Mm.
And now I'm writing my 22nd book. And actually, there are two books that I don't even count in that. It's actually my 24th book, but I don't count the first two because I never published them. So, even in the simplest of beginnings, like when you said, expand, and remember you're the universe, that right there, girl, that's your genius.
Yep.
that's your work. That's who you are.
Hmm.
And you don't get caught up in what other people think about it, say about it, how they want how you're going to make money as it.
Well, yeah, and that is honestly, that's been a tough one for me because, like, sometimes I'm so la la la, I am all that is. Everything's taken care of. And then I might look at my bank account, like, after I moved twice last year, and it was just like, I had to buy all new furniture again. And I was like, doing the numbers. I'm not sure how this is going to add up. And then my mind still will want to be like, well, okay. But I do think some of that is it motivates me to put
Yeah,
my work out more. So it's still sometimes those challenges are good motivation that we need because I'm quite content just sitting on the couch or on my balcony staring at the trees, and just stuff like that.
but you know what? Not a lot of people, I think, on Earth have the experience that you had as a child, knowing that you came as the universe,
Hmm.
as creator, as source, as whatever term anybody wants to apply to that. And that means that you are profoundly special, as is everybody if they
As I
want
know
to. It doesn't make
exactly.
anybody better than anybody else.
We
It's,
all have a total unique specialness. I
yeah,
love that you help bring that out in people, and I think this is my feeling about what you do because I don't work like this. I never have, but maybe I would like to.
yeah,
Um, is that because you focus, like what you focus on grows. I mean,
yeah,
our creativeness is in our awareness and where we place that focus. That's what expands consciousness.
yeah.
And you focus on people's genius and you go right to the core of that. And I think you unlock it in people
Yes, I
and
do.
expand it and bring
Yeah,
it out. And I love that because we
yeah,
are all the most special person on the planet, each and every one
yeah.
of us.
Well,
Most
for
people don't feel that.
let's take for example your work with disabled people because that's your regular day job, right?
Hmm.
Well, uh, um, one of the things that I don't know whether the job allows you to do this, they may not, or the profession allows you to do this, they may not. And if they don't, I would do it in consciousness instead. But if
I
I
do a
had
lot
the
of stuff in behind the
opportunity,
scenes.
yeah, if I had the opportunity with those kind of people, I'd be saying, what's inside you that nobody knows about?
Hmm.
And they would then either say or communicate if they can talk. If they can't talk, I'd be doing it telepathically or in consciousness. And I would be getting the most extraordinary input that would
Hmm.
just leave me like in awe of who they are. And that would unlock them
Okay.
because nobody's asking that question of them.
You're right. I have goosebumps because I really haven't done this. I see the light in everyone. I tune in to their presence, that source essence, but I want to take that a step further because I know this job has been given to me as a gift in a playground. There's so many benefits to it that it's not even
Yeah,
funny, but there's challenges. And I would love to see how their interaction even changes with me
yeah.
with playing with something like that, right? Because
Yeah,
it
because
does.
even if you take one of them who might be profoundly disabled, but inside themselves, they're still like amazing. So even if you just connect with their being in consciousness, even if you don't say in the job or whatever, you
Yeah.
connect with their being and you start to get what they're really doing, who they really are, what's possible, even telepathically, if that's the term. I would call it more communing than
Yes.
telepathing.
Yes.
It's not reading their
Communing.
mind, it's communing as beings and getting the awesomeness of them and
Mhm.
being awestruck by them.
I,
It's the awestruckness that unlocks
yeah,
the key.
the awestruckness. I feel like our call today was sort of, I was already feeling your essence because I was doing that last week with somebody who it was like, you're kind of like you're a little bit confused. I was trying to figure out ways to get through or motivate or what should I do or how? And I was asking their higher being, which I do these things, I do a lot of energy work in consciousness of my
Yeah.
own accord.
Yeah.
And I like things it's I won't even try to explain. But I was asking like what am I here for? Like how can I assist you? So I was asking their greater being and not even necessarily a hands-on assistance, but I think connecting with people in that way so
Yeah.
much of the work we do is beyond any words.
Yeah. If you use the telepathy tapes, and I haven't listened to them, but I've heard all about them, I think, where they take non-verbal autistic people
Mm.
and wrote the telepathy tapes, which I believe, if I got it right, is that these autistic people are communing in consciousness all together with extraordinary creative evolutionary stuff.
They're bringing some good stuff to the planet.
Big, big, big. So there's
Yeah.
purpose to everything. I don't think there, I actually begin to think there's a greater intelligence and a great big beautiful hand behind everything.
Hmm.
And I think we can escape the trauma version of getting into what we're supposed to be here for
Yes.
by connecting with the greater intelligence, the greater purpose, the greater hand, the greater whatever that is, however you frame that. I don't have a set of beliefs around it that's like, it's this.
Hmm.
And once you do that, then life becomes a much easier, joyous, super amazing ride.
Exciting because it's always like, oh goody, oh
Yeah,
goody, oh goody, like
yeah,
turning from looking back over your shoulder to
yeah,
the opportunities. Yes, I love that. Thank you so
yeah.
much. That I feel like I'm gonna be inspired now in my work even more. You know,
Fantastic.
yeah, because it's and I think everything we just talked about can actually be related to every relationship in our life about
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. The minute you get in awe of someone, they begin their own journey to change, to
Mm.
transform, to transcend themselves. And if it's not yours to continue with, like I said, I let go easily. I let many blessings on your path.
Yep.
Thanks for the friendship.
Yep.
Thanks for whatever. Okay, we're complete. That's that.
Hmm.
And I don't, because my mission isn't that.
Hmm.
My mission is the world and the redesigning all of life, which
Yeah.
is, exciting. So yeah,
Yes, same. I'm the same way. It's we're just constantly evolving. So you just gotta
yeah,
keep moving with it. Some easy come, easy go. I must say though, thank you so much because I am in awe of you and I love your work and it's a huge inspiration for me also personally because I go, wow, this has become lighter and brighter year over year.
yeah,
I'm always like pinch myself what I thought life was like how dull and boring when you're asleep and you're just gonna like retire and then you're gonna die. It's just so sad. And now it's just like, oh my God, every day we're new because we're always bringing
that's
more of
right.
us
Yeah,
in through these bodies and like it's just so exciting. So thank you so much for like everything you've shared, your friendship, all you do for the world. I just think it's the most
thank
fabulous
you.
thing ever.
Ditto.
Thank you.
Because I know we're both in an evolutionary surge. Like that's who we are. We're providing some of the oomph and the directionality and the fun in
Yeah,
here and
someone's got to
there.
do it. It's a tough job, you know.
Actually, I am so happy with my life. It's ridiculous. I mean, I spent yesterday with my iPhone, which is all sparkly,
Mhm. Oh, I
going
love it.
going around taking pictures of fairies at a fairy festival. And it was pure, the kindest people you ever want to meet. Lots of children playing fairy tea sets and oh, it was magicians and music drummers and dancing and oh, it was just like that I get to do that is just a, a, a thing of joy. I'm
Yeah.
not personally a fairy, but But
Yeah.
oh my God, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So yeah,
I think it's important to stay in touch with something whimsical in this dense
I do
reality
too.
sometimes. It's like
I do
I have
too.
gnomes all over my house. I don't know why. I used to accuse them of stealing my lighters back because I smoked for 35 years. I'd always say it was the gnomes. This is before I had any sense of what even a gnome was. And I'm like, maybe I just remembered those sassy little gnomes, but whatever. Like, you
Yeah.
have to have fun and you have to be able to laugh and have fun in order to be happy, I believe, as a human. And
Well, it raises your vibration. It puts you in a different version of reality and how life is. And you see through different eyes when you raise your vibration. You see the beauty and the wonder and the awe, and you have magic in you,
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah,
it's amazing.
wonderful.
I know we should stop talking.
I
We
know
could talk
I
forever.
could go on and on and on. Like, we could do this again.
Yeah, beautiful. Let's do it again.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone, for joining us. This has been a marvelous conversation. I hope it
Yeah.
lifts everybody up. Like, I hope you can feel the joy and just breathe it in. Breathe it in, breathe it in, embody it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks.